Do you think Trump won the election because of his, political skills, technical skills? Fuck no. It's all about, the way he speaks, and he doesn't give a shit, and he's just the best communicator out of all the participants in the election, Kamala sucks compared to Trump when it comes to communication skills. She's a fake ass. She doesn't know how to speak. She's a liar. And Trump is much, much better. I'm sorry.
A young, beautiful woman in a nightclub, the economics of that situation are such that her attention is the most demand out of anyone, anywhere on earth.
Like the guys who say that, the guys who say, oh, you shouldn't learn how to approach women, this is wrong. Well, these are the guys who jerk off to the weirdest porn ever, to some hentai porn or to some fucking weird ass pedophile porn. These are the guys who do that.
If you have your own business, you don't have to go become some top dating coach. Like we've taken care of that. We've gone and over optimized for that, over studied for that, over trained for that, so we can help you do that.
All right, welcome. I'm here with Chris. For those of you who don't know that, Chris and I have been working together for many, many years now. He's in Montreal. That's how I met him, actually. We met together in Montreal many years ago, back in 2017, 18. He was running the inner circle in Montreal there for some time. There was like some pickup groups on WhatsApp and just dating chats on WhatsApp. And at some point we met at some event, and then we kept in touch and we went out together many, many times. And here we are, 8 years later, here working together, coaching together, having clients together, soon traveling the world together, because he's gonna probably come on. I'm gonna be hosting a couple boot camps, and he's already hosting a couple boot camps in North America, but we're gonna probably cross each other either in LA or whatever. So we'll see. But in any case, Chris, for those of you, Chris, for the viewers that don't know you, could you kind of quickly introduce yourself and how you got into this, how you got into dating and all of that, and kind of your background real quick?
So I did just sort of end up in this industry, and like many people, it's been kind of a wild ride. It's been a lot of different things that I've tried in life, and I was doing music, I was doing math in university. I was a bit of a military brat, so I'm from England originally, and I traveled around. But one thing led to another, and I've just found myself more and more in the sort of dating world and the dating industry. And I have been in it for many, many years, but the last few years, more than ever before, I found myself working with people, collaborating with people like yourself, and getting a lot of mentorship, traveling around, and just having incredible adventures all over the world, but especially North America and Canada and the US. And I'm just blessed to be able to have so many opportunities. Actually, last night, I checked my phone, and the third person in a month wants me to help them run their boot camp. So there are so many people. There's actually, in the space of a month, I've been invited to 4 different boot camps with 3 different coaches, including our program that we're doing. But I'm including that in there. But I'm just more and more in demand than ever, and I'm just so blessed to be able to be on this journey and be able to help people in this way, because it's something that I struggled with for a long time. And even though I did have great dating results when I was in my teen years, and I always had beautiful girlfriends and so on, it was on and off. And when it was going well, I didn't know why it was going well. And when it wasn't going well, I didn't know why. And it was just hell to not know why and how things were working. And I just got, I went on YouTube one day and I typed in how to get a girlfriend or how to impress a girl or how to get an ex back or something like that, like we all do. And I just started stumbling upon these videos and got sucked into it more and more and more. And for the people too on my channel that don't know who you are, I'd like to hear a little bit about you and your journey.
Yeah, thanks. And first of all, crazy the journey that you went through, and I've noticed it, I've witnessed it. It's been many, many years that we've been in touch together and kind of working together on and off since 2017, 18, whatever. So it's been a while. And yeah, I'm super proud of the progress you've done, man. Now, you're
Thank you, man.
literally working hand in hand with our mentors back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Like back in the day, we used to look up to all these mentors, and we still look up to them in some way. We still like what they do, but you're literally now being invited to work alongside them, to teach alongside them. So, which is crazy to me, and it's incredible.
Yeah. It's funny. And we got to pay you a compliment right now. But the two people I really wanted to work with, like, because we parted ways for a bit. I was pursuing music and doing some stuff in music, and I still am, but it's not my main thing anymore. And there were two people that I wanted to work with because it's a little bit of a toxic industry. There's a lot of weirdos in this industry, and there are a lot of people who are, not like just kind of more unsavory characters. And even though I love a lot about the industry, there's a lot that's, I'm not a huge fan of. And the two people I really wanted to work with are you and my current mentor. And I'm working with both of you guys a ton right now. So it's pretty amazing that I basically am working with the people that I really wanted to work with.
Yeah.
And and your journey too, man. I mean, like, that's why I wanted to work with you, is because I saw you from afar also once you left the city, and I just saw this brand you were building, and the people who are still back here that have been following you, we were all just super impressed from afar seeing what you've done. So it's great to be a part of that. And it's dope, man. So what are some other things that you sort of went through that got you on this journey and brought you into this field?
Yeah, I mean, it's many different things. I mean, like you, I guess when I was younger, I wasn't always the best guy with women. I wasn't always that successful. I had a few girlfriends when I was in high school. I had a few girls I hooked up with. But truly, I mean, for as long as I can remember, when I was in high school, I just wasn't able to communicate my intentions properly with the woman that I truly wanted. Like I could talk normally to a 6 or a 5 or whatever, and I don't care about giving numbers. I mean, on a scale of attractiveness, some girls are less attractive than others, and with the girls that I was less attracted to, I was treating them normally. But then with the girls that I truly wanted, I was kind of pedestalizing them. I had confidence issues. I was a bit shy, a bit timid. I didn't know how to escalate things. I didn't know how to communicate my value properly. And back in the day, I didn't really have a mentor or someone to show me how. Like, I grew up around women mainly. My father was absent most of my most of my teenage years. Like my father was kind of, he was on and off between, Paris and Tunisia. And so I grew up around women, mainly around my mom and my sister. And, I never had I had a father figure, but maybe not as much as some other guys. I just remember now, a guy like Andrew Tate, for example, he has his dad, chess player, blah, blah, blah. He learned a ton of things about masculinity and stuff like that from his dad. Myself, I learned obviously a lot of things from my dad. And my dad, if you're watching this, obviously, thank you for everything. But of course, you never sat me down. My dad never sat me down and told me, hey, this is how you should conduct yourself as a man. This is how you should, approach women, and this is what you need to say, and this is, what masculinity is, and blah, blah, blah. I had to learn those things myself. Now, I went through a journey. I mean, my first breakup was a big awakening, I would say, because that's when I really realized that I kind of sucked, and I needed to understand how to navigate the dating market more efficiently, because I wasn't really having any systems. I wasn't really having any strategy. So I had to kind of bounce back from that and, learn from my mistakes. And that's what I started doing. After the breakup, I started reading about seduction, going on, on YouTube channels and trying to find the people that were really teaching this at a high level. And that's where I stumbled upon a lot of different teachers, a lot of different books, a lot of different courses about that. And as I started studying in Canada, we met in Canada. But when I started studying in Canada, that's where everything kind of kickstarted. That's where everything really came into place. Because in Canada, I was by myself. I was alone in a new city, new country. I didn't have any friends at the beginning, so I really had to build myself up. Because when you still live at your parents' house and you have everything given to you, and you still live at your in your hometown, you're still in this bubble of comfort, and you still have that reassurance that, I mean, you can stay the same, and everything is going to remain pretty much the same. It's comfort. But when you live in a new country, in a new city, you can't remain the same. Otherwise, you just get sucked into just failure and bullshit, and you just have a miserable life. So you need to step up, and I think, me moving to a new city and me having those new challenges to overcome just made me grow as a person. And that's when I started my journey of personal development back in Canada. Started taking courses, started going out, started meeting a lot of women. And from there, I started my first business also when I was in Canada at the same time. And I quickly saw the overlaps between, communicating. Because, in business, if you have a brand or you sell a service or you sell a product, you need marketing, you need sales. And that marketing and those sales skills, I realized very quickly, they're very similar to dating. I mean, the same skills you would use in business to communicate that your product, that your service is, desirable, whatever. Well, those same type of skills are also transferable to dating. And this is where it clicked for me, is like, those dating skills, those communication skills, man, is the same thing in business, the same thing in sales. So that's where I was like, shit. So actually, me learning success with women is actually the gateway to make more money as well. So it's like literally knocking two birds with one stone. When I improve myself with women, not only do I get girls, but I also make more money. I become a better communicator in my business, in my personal life, with dating, with everyone. So that's the epiphany that I had. And for me, dating was 100% the gateway to me getting into business and to me actually making money. And so that's what got me to this position where now I can just travel the world anytime I want. I have the freedom to do whatever I want financially. And I don't have a job. It's been 6 years I didn't have a job. Since I was in Montreal, I didn't have a job. So yeah.
Yeah, I think moving out of your hometown is one of the most important things you can do. I think it's great to have that stable community growing up, but I think also, especially as a man, you need to sort of spread your wings and you need to cross the threshold, right? That's part of how we grow and develop. I've been super obsessed with Joseph Campbell's hero's journey lately. But I love what you're saying about communication and making more money, because a lot of guys who get into game and meeting women and dating and so on, they end up in some kind of marketing or sales position or having a business or building a brand or something like that. And it doesn't need to be, again, in this industry, and actually it often isn't. A lot of guys end up going into other things that are maybe more, I guess politically correct. I mean, sometimes this isn't considered that. I'm gonna cut that part out. But I did like what you were saying about.
No, you're right. I mean, some guys are literally not starting our business because they're afraid of not being politically correct. Some guys. I think you're right about that, bro.
That's fair. Honestly, I mean
props to us for getting into this industry, even though we know that we might get how do we say, silenced or canceled or whatever. We know the risks, but we still did it.
It takes balls, and we take you'll take a lot of hate too. I mean, people online, everyone thinks they know how to date women. Everyone thinks they understand it. And people, it's very, very personal for people, because if you're not good at dating, if you're not good at communication, it almost feels like that's who you are. So people link it so closely to their identity that it becomes very difficult for people to take advice or to admit that they're wrong, because everyone wants to be the person who actually gets it, because then that gives them status, right? That gives them validation for their personality. If you're not good at math is a common one. Everyone's like, oh, I'm bad at math. Or if you're not good at skateboarding, or if you're not good at basketball, if you don't play it, no one cares, right? You're just like, oh yeah, personally, I suck at basketball, right? But I don't have a dog in the fight. Whereas it's inherent in humanity to have relationships and to mate, right? And to date. And if you're not good at that, or if you don't understand it, it feels really fucking bad. And you and I have both been there. Like I was saying earlier, it's like, yes, I'd had my wins early in life. But unfortunately, like there are the downs too. And if you don't have like a stable structure or strategy or understanding of female nature, then shit, man. I mean, you're gonna be in for a rough time. And I definitely had a lot of rough times in my teen years and early 20s even. I had a pretty brutal breakup back then that I'm gonna be putting a video out about very soon. But one thing I want to connect this with is that I've found that, yes, better communication means more money. But what a lot of people will say is like, okay, well, then I'm just going to go take a sales training, or I'm going to take a marketing training, or I'm going to go do a public speaking thing. And yes, that stuff's all well and good. Like I do plenty of that. I read Dan Kennedy like every single day. I'm a fan of Alex Hormozi. My mentor has taught me a ton about marketing and sales. I've learned a lot from you also. I read a ton of sales books, Jeremy Miner, these guys, all great. But what I've found is that the guys who are really good with women, the guys who are really good with dating, they go into these skill sets with like 80% of it covered, right? So other people might go in and they have to start from ground zero, or like maybe they already have like 10 or 20%. A guy who's crushing it in dating is going to come in with 80% of that skill set handled. And then the last 20%, they got to do a few details. They got to do a few drills. They got to do some practice and get some reps, maybe in the actual industry itself, maybe actually on sales calls and so on. But look, dating women, cold approaching women especially, is the single best way to improve your communication, because they are the hardest demographic. They're the hardest demographic, because a young, beautiful woman in a nightclub, the economics of that situation are such that her attention is the most demand out of anyone, anywhere on earth. So if you can hold the romantic interest and attention of a young, beautiful woman who has infinite options in the dating marketplace, you can hold attention anywhere. You can do your little YouTube video. You can do your little Instagram ad. You can do the sales call. It becomes a fucking joke because your frame is so strong. Your communication is so strong. Your calibration and your attunement to social nuances is so fucking strong at that point, and your leadership, that anything else that is not as high pressure becomes a joke. And even things that are technically more high pressure, just because of how men feel when we get rejected and that fear of rejection, if you can overcome that for some weird reason, even if there's like $100,000 or $1 million on the line, it still feels like less pressure somehow than getting rejected by a beautiful girl. I don't know what it is, but it's in our DNA, right?
Man, there's nothing more primal as a man to approach a beautiful woman. I mean, this is evolution. This is biological. On a biological level, your conscience, your genes, your conscious, your DNA is telling you, like, this is a person you literally want to mate with to basically sustain the evolution of your genes, right? And if you don't align yourself with your conscience, then what you're doing is you're literally weeding yourself out from the gene pool, and you're just every time you do that, every time you don't listen to your conscience, like every time you have to go to the gym but you don't do it, every time you need to approach a girl but you don't do it, every time you do that, a little drop of your self-esteem goes down, literally. And this affects your business, this affects your mood, this affects how you show up in your sales calls, in your business, in everything. How you do one thing is how you do everything. If every time you see a girl you don't approach her, then what does it say about you in a networking event? Now, do you really believe that you're going to be able to walk up to a famous investor or a famous entrepreneur in a networking event if you can't even fucking approach a beautiful girl in the grocery store? Like it all is, it's all related, man. And the thing is, it's very primal. Winners like to associate with winners. And so if you can't get girls, if you can't get laid, if you don't have any beautiful women around you, then no winner is going to want to associate with you. No one wants to associate with a guy who doesn't get any girls, who doesn't know how to communicate his value. So whenever I want to do business, I want to do business with guys. I mean, when I say business, it means like not me coaching guys on how to date. Let's say I want to do like a business in some other ways. I want to usually hang out with guys who, have their ways around women, who understand women the right way. I want to roll with guys like that, because otherwise, it's gonna it's just gonna be affecting the experience. If I go out with a guy who doesn't know shit about women, who doesn't know how to approach women, I'm not gonna have as much fun, and I don't even want to go into business with him.
Yeah, 100%. And when you go out with someone like that, they kind of have your back socially. It's like going into an environment, say, that you feel is dangerous, and you might get into some kind of physical altercation. Well, you want to go with the guy who's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, or was a cop, or was in the military or something. It's the same with this. It's like, if you go out with a guy who's going to be crying and whining and just getting massively overwhelmed by, any loud noises in the environment, and can't even step to a girl, like, it's just, I don't know. I almost like lose respect for the guy. I don't even want to, because I love everyone. I look past those things and so on. And like on a deeper level, I'll still have respect for someone, but on the level of like just going out and feeling that someone has my back, I don't know. I have trouble associating with people like that. It's really difficult for me. I just kind of have like this pity for them, and I'm not, and again, I mean, it might go the same with me. I have some fighting skills, like I have Muay Thai training and stuff, but I'm sure if I went out with like a cop or like my MMA friends, maybe they feel the same way about me, but at least they know I'm not like a pussy, right? And yeah, also the thing you were talking about with, so yeah, you also mentioned about when you don't approach that woman, when you don't go to the gym that day that you should, when you don't, hit up those sales prospects or work on that thing for your business that one day, do the writing, do the scripting, the video recording, whatever it is, whatever you got to do that day, make the phone calls. When you don't do that, it chips away at your self-esteem. And what is self-esteem but your relationship with yourself, right? So if I'm out with Limo and I say, hey, I'm going to go approach that girl. And then he's like, okay. And then I don't do it. Even if Limo's still like, look, I like Chris, whatever, he's going to trust me a little bit less to be someone who steps when we're out. It's just the matter. It's just the
fact of the matter.
It's just the truth.
Yeah.
Sorry?
No, the fact of the matter. No?
Yeah, it's just the fact of the matter. And yeah, that's just how it's going to be. I mean, when we have evidence to support something, then that's what we believe, right? We see what we believe. And this is how we go through the world. It doesn't mean he like doesn't believe in me or something, but it's just what he's seen, right? So because I do approach, that's not going to happen. But when you do it with yourself, when you have that relationship with yourself, you're also going to lose trust with yourself, because you're betraying commitments that you've made to yourself. And when you betray commitments that you've made to yourself, I mean, it just goes down and down and down. And then you're going to betray commitments that you make to yourself. Your self-image is going to go down. You're going to think of yourself as less of a winner. It's, next time you're in that situation, well, I always fuck these things up. I always pussy out. I'm always, you know what I mean? And then you get these like victim mentalities, and then it's a downward spiral, and then you take less action and so on. And it's just a pathway to misery and poverty and a terrible life of scarcity and depression. And you don't want that, right? None of us want that. We want amazing communication skills. We want great business prospects, amazing quality of life in every area, health, wealth, relationships, higher purpose, and spirituality. And you can really get there by just having these commitments to yourself and honoring those commitments. It doesn't have to be some grand gesture. You don't have to go and, I don't know, be like some, again, you like, if you have your own business, you don't have to go become some top dating coach. Like we've taken care of that. We've gone and over optimized for that, over studied for that, over trained for that, so we can help you do that. But all it is for you is you just need to go out and just step to some girls and have some girls in your life and be dating and cold approach and set up your Instagram and dating profiles. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do. It doesn't need to be this grand thing. It just needs to be these little wins over and over and over and over again to build up this identity and to build up this skill set that you have massive, rock solid confidence in.
Yeah, I like the way you talked about identity, because at the end of the day, it all comes down to that, isn't it? It's all about identity, you know, because it's not about the how, it's about the who. Who's doing it, you know, because, you know, you can have the how, I can give you the systems. You can come into our program, we're going to give you all the systems, how to approach, how to date, what to say, you know, Instagram, social circle, everything. But then it's about you as a person, how you show up. It's who you are, you know, self-mastery can only come from self-honesty. And a lot of you guys are not honest with yourself, and you're not actually, you know, engaging in the right habits to put yourself in the frequency to be able to apply these systems the right way. A lot of guys, you can give them the systems, but they're not at that frequency yet, you know? It's not about the how, it's about the who. So a business coach can give you the best business systems, but if you're not ready to apply them because you're not at that level yet, you won't, you know? You won't. That's why, you know, people who win the lottery, a few years later, they're broke again, because they couldn't even handle it because the frequency is not there yet. So it's all about first improving your identity and shifting your identity so that you, I mean, if you're an ambitious business owner, you're already at a certain level in your identity. That's for sure, you know. But I'm saying your identity when it comes to that specific matter as well, when it comes to the dating matter, because you can be a very successful business owner and have your identity tied to that, but then have a shitty part of your identity when it comes to dating. So it doesn't matter. Like, I've seen business owners have an amazing identity in business and have just an identity that sucks with women. So you need to be multifaceted in your identity. If your identity is too is too axed around business, is too focused around business and not enough in the other aspects, then you need to balance your identity out. You know, you need to understand the different polarities of your identity, because you're not your identity is made of different facets. And so it all starts with that, man. You got to level up your identity first. And then from there, you can apply the right systems to your dating life, and it's gonna work. It's gonna work 100%. It couldn't not work. You know, it's impossible for it not to work if you are aligned with that and you take the right actions, you know?
Yeah, 100%. It's just like a kid who plays a video game over and over. If they just identify with playing that game, even if they suck at first, after just so many hours of playing it, it's impossible for it not to work, for them not to get better. And I love what you were just talking about. It reminds me of, I'm a big fan of Tony Robbins, and you are too. And it reminds me of his state, story, and strategy, right? So a lot of people who are maybe like nerdy business owners or professionals or like engineers, you know what I mean? Like, I studied engineering and I love like details. I love strategies. I love systems and flows and so on and so forth. But it's one thing when it's out here, when it's like an electrical system or a client acquisition system or something like that. But when it's in here, when it's so deeply tied to your identity, like dating and so on, it can be very, very difficult to change that. So strategy is the third layer. You can't start there, right? So you got to start with the state. You got to start with that sort of belief. And how we do this is through the body. So I recommend breathing activities, meditation, working out, and just honestly, working out fixes so many fucking things. If you just work out a few times a week or like a little bit every day, however you want to do it, you don't have to be a bodybuilder. You don't have to be an athlete. You don't have to be like training to fight John Jones. Just be a bit in shape so you feel great and you feel good, because it's just going to raise your state. And when your state is better, then it allows you to change your story. So we could go into a lot of things about state, but I definitely recommend, just a couple things I would recommend are definitely training a lot, especially cardio too. I used to neglect cardio just for, you know, getting big muscles. But honestly, cardio makes me feel so much better, makes your breathing better. It makes your mindset better. It gets your blood flow going, and cardio there's nothing like it. And it's so good for your mental health and your how you feel.
No, I think it's a key aspect. I mean, if you're not working out as a guy, literally you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're just leaving so much happiness and fulfillment and confidence and all of that. You're just leaving that, you know, on the table. You're just like, yeah, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. I think, you know, as a guy right now, if you're not working out, definitely you're messing up somewhere. Maybe it's a lack of self-esteem or something, but a guy who truly values his body, because it's always mind, body, and soul. If you like, literally a third of you living a great life is just your body. So if you're not honoring your body, whether by working out or as Chris said, doing cardio, martial arts, whatever, but some high frequency workout, you're just going to be low energy. Even to be able to tap into that even to be able to tap into that high frequency of getting shit done, it just helps, man. Because after a workout, you feel pumped. You feel the endorphins kicking in. You feel like you can conquer anything. And even if you even if you woke up and you woke up like shit, you woke up feeling like shit, if you go and you work out, then I guarantee you're gonna feel 10 times better after the workout. Because you're just gonna be in that high frequency state. It's just high frequency. You gotta raise your energy, and that's why I always say the best time to approach a woman is just after you work out. Because after you work out, you're such in a high frequency that, you know, no girl is gonna reject you most of the time because you're in the high frequency.
Yeah.
So
and look, a lot of the guys that are listening are gonna be ambitious guys, very busy guys, have a lot of demands on their time and attention. Look, you don't have to go and spend 2-3 hours every day lifting weights and doing all these different things or training martial arts like you're trying to fight, like I said, John Jones or someone. Just do a little bit every day or a longer workout a few times a week. For me, even sometimes I won't even go to the gym. Right now, yes, I am going to the gym. But what I learned during COVID when the gyms were closed is that I can work out anywhere. I got a pull-up bar, and I just do pull-ups every single day, pull-ups, push-ups, squats, and then I'd go for a run. I go for a mile run. Actually, I did this a few times, even in the winter in Montreal, actually. Gyms were closed. It was the middle of winter, freezing in Canada. And I was listening to a lot of David Goggins at the time, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm going outside. And I never missed a week. And I would just go outside. I would run a mile. I would do, overall, it was like 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, and 300 squats. And then you run another mile. It's called a Murph. It's like a military workout. It's really hard, really hard. So it's 2 miles of running, 100 reps of pull-ups, 200 push-ups, and 300 squats. And I'd just be doing it in the snow. And that was a bit intense. But even without any equipment, even without any, I would even do it at the park before I got a pull-up bar in the cold. So even without really any equipment, you can still get a good workout done. You don't need to go to a fancy gym. And sometimes I'll even just train at home, pull-ups, push-ups, squats, and then go for a run outside. You don't need barely any equipment. Or you could just go to the gym a little bit, you know what I mean? And because, look, at the end of the day, what is dating about? It's not only about sex, but sex is a big part of it. And there's a physical aspect to that. Sex is a physical act on one level, for sure. So, look, sex is a physical act on one level at least. And the body has sex, right? If you're huge, fat, out of shape, or you're skinny and weak, or you get out of breath very easily and you're coughing and you can't breathe deeply, what is sex going to be like with you? That's not going to be a very enjoyable experience for a woman. So when in terms of business, we think about how to bring value to others. Well, in terms of dating, a lot of the communication principles are very similar. I think almost every day, basically, about how can I be better in bed for women. I literally do like certain stretches in the gym. I'm like thinking when I'm doing cardio, I'm like, how is this going to improve me in bed? Like, it sounds so silly, but like, doing squats and like hip thrusts and shoulder presses. I'm like, hey, how is this going to help me be stronger in bed and so on? And, there's an aspect of that, right? It's also, for living long and being better at fighting if the opportunity or the risk of fighting is ever high or something like that. But but part of it is also, how are you doing in bed? So think about how you're bringing value to women. And one way you can do that is by getting in shape and also having a great vibe. And a lot of this comes from just physical exercise and being in a great state.
And you talked about presence earlier. And honestly, how can you be fully present in your life if you're not even proud of your presence? You got to be proud of your presence. You got to be proud of who you are and your physique and who you became as a person. If you're fat and you're eating like shit, you're not taking care of yourself, how can you truly be proud of yourself long term? Yeah, maybe in business you're making money, etc. I know a ton of millionaires and billionaires who are miserable, and they're not taking care of the most important aspect, which is their body. So, to be truly present long term, you got to be proud of your presence. That's what I realized as well. And meditation is cool, everything is cool, but you got to be proud of who you became and your body as well. So, yeah, working out is key. Now, when it comes to dating, there's been also many links between dating and mental health as well in many, many ways. Back when I was studying in McGill University, I also was attending some pickup seminars back in the day, as I said. That's one of the ways I met Chris, right? And in one of those dating seminars, I was the speaker at some point, because at some point I became so good, I became so obsessed with this, that I started speaking on stage. I started literally teaching what I learned, on stage on these seminars. And at some point, one guy came in, and he's actually a professor at McGill University. He's a professor I think he has a PhD in psychology or whatever. And he's a professor in one of the best universities in Canada, which is McGill University. And he came to that pickup seminar to be able to conduct a study on how learning about seduction and learning about social skills can improve one's mental health. And so he saw me speak at that event. And at the end of that event, he came up to me and he asked me, hey, can I pay you $50 an hour? This Saturday, I'm going to conduct a study, etc., so that I can study basically how you conduct yourself with women and how it helped you, because I have this study that I'm doing, etc. And obviously at the time, $50, an hour was pretty good. I mean, it pays some groceries, so why not accept that? So I was like, okay, let's do it. And so then on Saturday, that same week, I signed a contract with him. I still have the contract. I'll put it on the screen, whatever. I still have the contract of me signing the fact that he's going to conduct a study on me for his study. And he wrote a book after that. But anyways, so we conducted that study. He actually followed me. I remember he was following me at the mall, approaching women, etc. He was like hiding, and he was basically seeing how I was approaching and seeing what I was doing, etc. And after a few months, he published his studies. Now his study is already online, so he has a full study online on how improving social skills and improving seduction skills and dating, etc. Can improve your mental health as a man. So I'll put his study. His name is Robert Whitley. He's a professor at McGill University, and literally he proved from his study and me being a participant in his study that you improving your dating life and your seduction skills is going to improve your mental health, which is going to improve your confidence and your ability to empathize with others and your ability to communicate, which is also going to improve your success in life. And literally Harvard as well, a few years later or a few years before, they did a full study that shows that 85% of success in one's career is due to soft skills and people skills. Like literally Harvard, one of the best schools in the world, did a study on how your success is 85% dependent on your social skills. It's not your technical skills, it's not your hard skills, none of that. And the people who rise to the top in their careers, they're not the most intelligent, they're not the most competent, they are the most socially adept, the most socially powerful. Like they're the best communicator, basically. If you're the best communicators, get ahead. And even Warren Buffett, he said, if you can increase your communication by only 10%, you would literally double your income. And look at Warren Buffett's net worth now. So,
yeah, there was a time when I was in university, also in Montreal, And when we think about soft skills and hard skills, or sort of STEM versus humanities, what is the most like pure and technical and nerdy fucking subject? It's math. And I was studying math. And you think that it would be a pure meritocracy. And while I was one of the best in my class, there were other people who were on my level, especially as I got to the higher level math programs. And unfortunately, as you get higher and higher, there are less and less girls in the classes. Although I actually did, I did hook up with some girls who were in my math classes. There's some cute girls. But yeah, as you get higher and higher, there are fewer girls. And but there were other guys who were on my same level, like other guys who were really, really ambitious, really, really skilled in that field. But because I was going out so much, I was dating girls, I was going to the clubs, and frankly, I was mostly sleep deprived in a lot of my classes. I still had the ability to go up to my professor, like many other people didn't, go up to my different professors and ask them what their research was on. What was their research on? What were they up to? And I was kind of, not like schmoozing them or like kissing their ass or like manipulating them, but I was just asking them what was up and just meeting them and making a personal relationship with them. And eventually I got scholarships worth thousands and thousands of dollars just because I went up to all of my professors and I was asking them if they'd sponsor me for this scholarship and that scholarship. And I got there through soft skills. Even the thing that you think would be the most about how good are you on paper is your straight up math skills. And even then, even in a field as strict as that, I still massively benefited and got to do things way ahead of other people that were my peers just because I had better communication skills. And it wasn't even like some magical charisma or something. It was just basically knowing how to approach someone, knowing how to speak to someone, knowing how to ask about them, knowing how to relate to them, kind of being socially attuned and so on, the stuff that we talk about. And we've seen it time and time again. So it's not just us in the dating field. It's us when we're in university. It's us in different areas of our life. For example, me in the music industry. I know a ton of people that are high level in the music industry and that are really, really killing it there. And I actually have some friends that are close wingmen of mine who have massively, massively improved their music career and their music production career and are traveling the world, going to France, Germany, Portugal, and they crush it on social media. And they can attribute 80, 90% of that, not just to their music skills, even though they're very, very skilled, but to their soft skills and going out and learning by approaching women, by dating women, the hardest demographic on earth to get their attention. Like if you can get the attention of a woman, guys, you can get anyone's attention. They have the shortest attention span, not because they're stupid, but even a 21-year-old girl, say who goes to McGill, she might be a fucking genius. She might be on her way to being a doctor. She might have a PhD in biochemistry. I don't care. When she's in the nightclub, she has the attention span of a goldfish, not because she's stupid, but because every guy who's there wants her attention. And she doesn't have time to give her attention to all these guys. Even if she's really nice, really smart, doesn't even drink, she's just going to go to the shiniest object, just like you would if you were her. You can't even be mad at her. I'm not mad at women at all for this. In fact, I love this because it gives me an opportunity to grow. It sharpens my communication skills and it allows me to think about how do I bring value to them? How do I be attractive to that girl who's super smart, who's very beautiful, who has a lot of dating opportunities? If I can be attractive to her and interesting to her, then I'm probably going to become a better man in the process. I'm probably going to become a better communicator. I'm probably going to make more money and be able to make more money. I'm probably going to be be better focused and be able to figure out problems better because I can keep my mind still and sharp and focused in the face of, not a terrifying monster, but honestly, what a lot of guys would treat as more terrifying than a big fucking lion or something. I know guys that are like super tough guys, right? Like some guys that like want to wrestle alligators and shit, guys that will go hunt, guys that will go on dangerous adventures. And still there are military guys like Navy SEALs and shit that will like literally, there's a story from my mentor where a Navy SEAL guy ran away from a boot camp. A guy that would stare a gun like stare an enemy fucking pointing a gun at his face without hesitating, but is too scared to talk to girls. It's fucking insane.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. Yeah, if you can seduce beautiful women consistently, you're going to be able to seduce powerful men as well. You're going to be able to seduce other businessmen, other investors, all of that. The same skills that would make you attractive to women and that would give you success with women will also give you success in your professional life. And at the end of the day, man, with AI and with the advancements in technology, we no longer need fucking coders. We don't need coders, bro. Like, that's it. AI is gonna take the code. AI is gonna, replace those financial analysts or those little bankers who type numbers all day, whatever. AI is gonna replace all that. We don't care about your fucking technical skills. Now we care about your social skills. And in a job interview, nobody cares about your technical skills. It's about who you are as a person, how you show up. I bet you so many people got refused a job because they couldn't even hold eye contact or they couldn't even speak properly. But if you spoke properly and you had ultimate conviction in yourself, even if you suck at those skills that the job requires, well, you still show up as a powerful person. And so an employer is going to trust you even more than a guy who has the skills. I would trust more a guy who's super confident in the job interview and who has a nice presence, who is confident, smiley, etc., than a guy who has all the technical skills, but who couldn't even hold eye contact, who can't even speak, I can't even hear him. I wouldn't even trust that guy. So, it's all about that. It's all about that. And the people who run the world right now are the people with the biggest personal brands. Even billionaires now are building their personal brands, like Elon Musk, Trump, all of that. Do you think Trump won the election because of his, political skills, technical skills? Fuck no. It's all about, the way he speaks, and he doesn't give a shit, and he's just the best communicator out of all the participants in the election, Kamala sucks compared to Trump when it comes to communication skills. She's a fake-ass hoe, she doesn't know how to speak, she's a liar, and Trump is much, much better. I'm sorry. Trump is just better as a communicator.
Mm-hmm. I think even his haters, a lot of his haters would admit that he's just more charismatic. He's just more charismatic. And love him or hate him, you gotta admit, that's why he won. So look, we've trained people actually on one of the first boot camps that I did after we started collaborating. The guy was a super, super smart. He spoke multiple languages, 3-4 languages, including like non-European languages. So I think it was like 2 non-European, 2 European, and he went to McGill also, and he was working on his PhD in human genetics and like biochemistry, that kind of thing. I'm like, so super, super technically smart guy, and even tall and good looking, but he was having trouble with women, right? And it was just because he couldn't approach. It was because he didn't have a couple of these basic skills down, like this basic frame control, basic projecting of the voice. I know some of the smartest people you'd ever meet, people that would just blow your fucking mind with how smart they are, yet they're like shrinking violets. They're like wallflowers because they just don't know how to market the product. It's not about just having a great product. And again, it's not just like that we're all products. You're like a human soul. But let's face it, like when we're going out into a dating marketplace, you want to think in terms of economics. It's a very useful way to think, right? So when you're coming at girls with this just weak shit, like you seriously, honestly, it's like, not to like get angry, but I'm probably going to get a bit angry. It's like you can't even raise your voice a little bit, not like in an angry way, but just to project it. It's rude. It's honestly, I think it's ruder to be too quiet than too loud, because if you're too quiet in a nightclub, people can't hear you. At least if you're loud, 1, they can hear you, and 2, it can be like fun, and at least you're putting energy into the environment. You might be a bit annoying, but it's like, man, if people have to lean in and strain in to hear you because of the environment, just because you like don't want to spend like the 5 minutes that it takes to learn how to project your voice, I'm sorry, but that's rude in my opinion. You're just not even taking consideration for other people. You think like, oh, I'm just not going to like take up too much space or whatever. That would be rude. It's bullshit. And if you're not looking someone in the eye because you don't want to be too imposing, well, they can't even trust you. They can't even see how you're coming across. People read who you are from your eye contact, right? And just these other things, like just other basic social skills. A lot of this stuff isn't so crazy, but it would blow your mind, or it certainly blows my mind, how people just won't learn this stuff and just learn the basics of walking up to a woman, introducing themselves, telling not like telling a joke or like a story, but like that can be part of it, but just like sharing good emotions, sharing good vibes, and just having this experience that you build together, and then potentially setting something up for the future, going on an adventure then and there, or going on a date later, or inviting them to a party, or anything. Like if you can just do that, to me, it's just like, it's so sad. Like you're depriving the world of something. Like you've spent your whole life on this earth, and you probably have some amazing characteristics, and you're depriving the women of the earth of that just because you're too scared. And I met this guy. I'm gonna end with this and then pass it back to you. But there's this guy in a group that I'm a part of. I'm not even gonna say what the group is, but I'm in a part of certain groups, right? Like certain special interest groups. And we went out after one of our meetings. And I was talking to this guy, and the topic of women and dating and approaching came up. And he was saying, look, it's so scary to me. It feels like I'm going to die. There's nothing scarier than approaching a woman on the street. And I'm like, look, I understand, man. Like I teach this stuff. Like I've been around the world teaching this. I've done it myself thousands of times. I've seen it with every kind of guy you can imagine. And I walked him through this sort of meditation of like, look, imagine I asked him to describe his perfect girl. He was telling me, okay, she's Asian. She reads a lot. She's 5'4", she's blah, 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 whatever. She's artistic. And I was like, okay, cool. So picture her here. You've been dating for 2 or 3 years, and you have this beautiful, loving relationship. You've traveled where you want to travel. You guys both have money. She's pursuing her passions. You are too. You guys are just have this loving relationship, great physical intimacy, and you guys are building something together, and potentially you're going to have kids. Now, look her in the eye and tell her, I'm willing to sacrifice this entire beautiful relationship and our entire future together because I was too afraid to spend 30 seconds going into my fear and just feeling that and getting past it and approaching you on the street. I'm willing to give all of that up just because of that. And I made him say it. And I made him say it and feel that shame almost. I don't like to motivate too much through shame, but sometimes it can be good if someone is in apathy. And that night, actually, he said right away, he's like, I would be okay with that because it's too scary. And it was just so sad to me. And this is a guy, he has great career success. He's a speaker. He can speak on stage well. He's charismatic, and he's super smart, and he has all these great things, but he was willing to give up a beautiful life with his dream girl just because he was too scared for a few seconds to approach a girl on the street. And it was so sad. But the next week, I talked to him, and he said, Chris, I've been approaching women, and as painful as it is, as scary as it is, I'm pushing myself to do it. And I'm going through that transformation. And it's incredible. And I was like, look, man, I'm not going to say his name, but I'm like, I'm so proud of you and respect for going through that journey, because now you've opened up an entire future for you and for potentially this girl of your dream, or the girls that you're going to date and go on adventures on until you meet her.
Yeah, that's powerful, man. Yeah. I mean, if you're a guy right now who's successful and you have a pretty good career, you have a baseline, you have money coming in, you're not worried about the next bill or, how to pay your groceries or whatever, then you're in the perfect place to work on this and to work on your success with women. And the thing is, with self-mastery, it's a never-ending journey. Even right now, me and Chris, we're learning every day. We're going out still. We're still putting ourselves out there because there's no end point. You can always learn more. You can always become better and better and better. You're never a finished product. So even if right now you think that, I don't need to work on my dating life because I hooked up with a few girls here and there, so I don't need to learn this, I'm okay. Well, you're being selfish. You're being selfish to your future self. You're being selfish to your future wife. You're being selfish to your future kids because you're dimming your light. you're not really tapping into the best version you could be. So if right now you're settling for a good dating life, then you're missing out on a great dating life. If you are settling for a great dating life, then you're missing out on a fantastic dating life. Like, you could have so much more. And if right now you're settling for a certain amount of money, like let's say 10K a month, well, if you just get into comfort and you don't put in more effort to learn more and grow more, then you are missing out on 100K a month, on 1 million a month. So you're always missing out if you don't improve. Anything in life is doomed towards entropy. And the thing is, if you don't improve something, by definition, that thing, decreases. Like, you can't stagnate in life. You either grow or you die. That's the law of nature. And so if you're not growing these social skills, by definition, you're getting worse. So you always gotta grow, man. And these social skills are so key. And if you just understand the value of these skills over the long run, you'll try to spend all your remaining time just learning about this, because this is everything. So if you don't learn that shit, or if you don't invest in yourself in that area, trust me, the guys who do will outpace you and will have the outcomes that you missed out on. They will outpace you, purely and simply. I have some guys that, I'm not going to say their names or whatever. I have some guys in mind right now who, after 3-4 years now of them kind of procrastinating on that, now they come up to me again after 3-4 years and begging me to work with me now, because they realize that, shit, I actually wasted those whole years of COVID-19, all that. I mean, I don't care. I can say it for YouTube. I don't give a shit. But like, they missed out on all these years where they could have made progress, but instead they chose to not focus on that, to procrastinate on that. And now they started seeing the ripple effect of that on their social life after a few years. Like, literally, I know some guys that after COVID, they got into such a shell and a zone of comfort in their social skills, etc. Like, they weren't talking to anybody. They were just business, just like them working all the time without talking to anyone. And they literally became antisocial. They became they became, a worse version of themselves, and a version that's not attractive to people. And they realized how now it's costing them a lot of relationships, a lot of opportunities, a lot of friendships. And now they come up to me 3-4 years later, regretting not starting sooner. So that's the main thing about this, is like, you're either improving or you're regressing. So it's super important that you keep sharpening those skills, and you become a student, a lifelong student of those skills. And I have a lot of haters, online. We have a lot of haters online that say that, oh, you guys are just scammers. Like, guys don't need social skills. Like, who's gonna fucking learn dating? Like, it's for losers. You're only taking the money of some losers who have low confidence. And here's what I'm gonna say to these haters.
Losers with low confidence are the ones who say that, by the way.
Yeah. Usually those are the people who say that. And usually the people who tell you, like, oh, it's not right. Like, you shouldn't, learn how to approach women. Like, the guys who say, oh, you shouldn't learn how to approach women, this is wrong. Well, these are the guys who jerk off to the weirdest porn ever, to some hentai porn, or to some fucking weird ass pedophile porn. These are the guys who do that. These are the guys who are literally the biggest creeps. The guys who don't learn these skills are the biggest creeps ever.
And they're going to be, by the way, they're the ones who are going to be hitting on your girl, saying you're a douchebag, you're not a good guy for them. And they're going to be trying this weaselly, creepy, manipulative stuff too. Like, I saw The Matrix last night, and spoiler alert, Cypher, the creepy guy, he's like saying like, oh, I always loved you, Trinity, but you like, the pretty good looking guy who's the hero. Well, that's all that's going to happen. If you don't approach, you're just going to become that guy. You're going to become the creep you're still going to try. You're still going to try to, like, you have an evolutionary desire. You have biological desires and needs. So there's going to be something that you're going to try. So if you're not doing it just straight up, just like honestly, like, hey, look, here I am. I'm not where I want to be yet. Okay, fine. I have some work to do. Let's improve. And then you just start chipping away at it and just own your faults and own your mistakes and own where you're at and just be humble. That's way, way more humble. Like people say like, oh, that guy's the douchebag, the guy that's going to go out and approach. I think it's the opposite. The guy that's the douchebag is the guy who's like, no, I know everything. I don't need to work on myself. I'm just going to like do nothing and just assume that I'm perfect. That's the biggest bullshit. That's the biggest ego jerk off ever, right? What's far more humble is to say, look, I'm where I am. I'm just going to start going out. I'm going to see what works, see what doesn't work. I'm going to face my failures. I'm going to face my dark side and my shadow and my mistakes and everything. And I'm just going to get to work and just try this out. That's far more humble in my opinion.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what I've learned is that haters, what they do is they hate what they gave up on. You know, if you gave up on the idea of getting with a 9, a 10, I don't like to say 10 because there's no 10, but if you gave up on the idea of having an incredible dating life, then you're going to hate on guys who didn't give up on that idea. You know, so haters, hate always comes from the bottom. It never comes from the top. Like a guy who's doing really well with women is never going to hate on a guy who tries to get better. But the guys who hate are the guys who don't even try, who gave up on it, who hate on it because they know they don't have the work ethic to get there. You know, they know that they're not willing to put in the work, so they hate on it. And so that's the main thing.
It's funny because guys that will say like come on a program with us, or guys that get coached by us, or guys that, or maybe even just like friends or just know who we are and will maybe approach in front of us, they'll feel actually more judged because they know we're coaches, they know we're professionals, and they'll feel more judged by us. Be like, oh my God, they're probably judging everything I'm doing. It's like, actually, I'm judging you less than other people would. Like other people would judge you for trying and be like, haha, like, look at him, he's trying, like, look at him go, that's so stupid, that's so cringy. I'm like, I don't even care if you suck. Like a girl throws a drink in your face, tells you to go to hell, you just absolutely did dog shit. You know, someone pushes you over and you fall over and someone pours a drink on you while you're on the ground and laughs at you. I don't even care because at least you're fucking trying. At least you have your sword and your shield and you're in the arena. You know what I mean? You're fucking trying. And that I respect that because Limo and I came up doing the same thing. I mean, I've just been humiliated so many times at this point socially that I just don't fucking care. I just don't fucking care. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I still remember the days where we used to get rejected together, man. Together on Saint Laurent. I remember Saint Laurent Street in Montreal. I went out with you a couple times. And I remember when we used to get rejected in front of each other and we used to laugh about it, you know, we just laugh.
Yeah, I laugh. Dude, it's part of the fun. It's part of the fun. It's like, you know, if you're playing sports, if you just win, it's not fun. It's like part of the fun is like getting knocked over and you're in the dirt and you're with your friends and it's that it builds that camaraderie. And man, some of the friendships you make going out and with Wingmen and so on is some of the best relationships you'll ever have in your life. I mean, you just go through it and you just realize that it's really not that serious. It's really not that serious. And I mean, even to this day, I mean, I still take crazy L's all the time. But honestly, what's funny is because I don't care as much, because I don't care about taking L's and being embarrassed and being humiliated, I take way less. I take way fewer like humiliations, right? Because it's like the fact that you care is actually a big part of why you get rejected. But you know, that's kind of ironic.
Yeah. And I would say it's not even an L, like it's just you just get improve, you know, you either pick up a girl or you pick up a lesson, you know, every rejection is a lesson. Every rejection is a brick in your palace to getting better with women, you know. That's the reframe.
L stands for lesson, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. An L is a lesson. There's no L when it comes to dating. And it's called game because it's literally a game. You win, you lose. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. If you won each time, then it wouldn't be as fun, you know. So it's great to have both that polarity and that challenge. Otherwise, it's not fun. If you know that if every woman you approached automatically turned into a girlfriend, it wouldn't be as fulfilling as like a, you know. It's great when there's a bit of challenge where you don't know if it's going to work or not, but you still go for it, and then it works, and you have that that great feeling when that works. So it's great. But in any case, guys, I mean, if you're listening to this and you're a business owner or a high-level professional and you feel like there's something missing with women, you feel like okay, you're doing well in other areas like your fitness and your business, but you feel like when it comes to women, you're kind of the chosen one. Like, women come to you and women sometimes give you signals or signs, and when they do that, then yes, you can leverage that opportunity. But when they don't, then you feel like you don't have control. You feel like you're kind of like, you're the prey. You know, if a woman comes up to you or gives you a sign, then great, you're able to do it. But if a woman doesn't give you anything, then you feel like, oh, I'm not in control of things. I'm not really the chooser here. Because in life, you're either the chosen one or you're the chooser. And that's the same thing for your career. You're either the chooser of your career, or you're kind of the chosen one. You have to settle for whatever career comes to you. So it's kind of the same thing. Like, the way you do one thing is how you do everything. Are you a chooser or chosen with women? If you're not, then you need to start reflecting, like, how can I become a chooser? How can I actually make myself so competent that it would be unreasonable for me not to get women consistently? And that's the main thing, man. You gotta be the chosen one. In life, you can have two positions. Either you're a leaf in the wind, or you're a facilitator of your own luck. And you always got to be the second one. You always got to be a facilitator of your own luck when it comes to business, fitness, dating, all of that. So if you're not facilitating your own luck in this area, and you're not proactively building systems and improving those skills, then automatically, by definition, you're in reaction to life in that area. You're not living in control of that area. You're living in reaction. So do you want to keep living in reaction to your dating life, or do you want to be proactive and put systems in place and actually have a strategy? And if you do, then check out the link in the description. There's plenty of stuff. We have trainings, we have a free community, we have so many good stuff. So check out the link in the description. And if you don't, then, I mean, fuck, man, why are you even watching this? You know, like, you shouldn't even watch this. Go watch some video, like some Mr. Beast or something.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, this stuff, we talk about skills and systems and all this stuff, and that's mostly just to kind of get you listening, because a lot of this, it really comes down to having fun. I mean, like, do you want to have fun? Like, if you're so career focused and you're so focused on making money and you're so focused on winning and trying to become freaking Julius Caesar, he died actually. It was his anniversary of his death 2 days ago, the Ides of March. But yeah, 2 days ago. And but I was thinking about Julius Caesar. It's like, man, if you're trying to just conquer and be number one and be the best, that's great. Like, Limo and I are super fucking ambitious. Like, if we're doing something, we want to make the longest, best videos. We want to be the best infield coaches. We want to travel to the best places, date the best women. Like, for me, if I'm playing guitar or I'm studying something, I want to be the best at that. Like, I understand that. But you got into business probably because you wanted more freedom and you wanted more fun with that freedom. It's like, still be competitive. That's great. But let's have some fun. Let's enjoy our time with women. Let's enjoy our life. I mean, you want to reward yourself for the hard work that you've put in. Otherwise, like, what are you even doing? You're just being some kind of masochist. You get one chance on earth and you don't want to enjoy it. Like, that's fucking weird in my opinion. I just don't understand that. And if you are dating, you might be dating less desirable women. And, you want to consistently date those higher quality women that someone like you deserves, right? And also, long term, you might be a younger guy now, but long term, you probably want a loving woman by your side who's going to be there as you build your empire. That you still are focused on being the best and building something. Well, you want someone to support you with that, right? And if you have children, you want a mother quality woman to raise those children, right? And you're going to have your pick of the litter, so to speak. You're going to have to be the chooser, like Limo was saying, right? So if you don't get this handled, you're just going to be more and more buried with work. You're going to go deeper and deeper down that rabbit hole, and you're just going to enjoy your life less and less and less. Okay, wow. You might be making millions and millions of dollars, but there are plenty of millionaires and billionaires who are just so fucking miserable, you wouldn't even believe it. And that opportunity is going to slip away. Like, you're going to die someday. Caesar died. I don't even know if he made it to 50 or 55. I don't even think he made it to 55, right? Before he was killed because of his ambition, right? So, okay, if that appeals to you, if you want those things in your life, if you want those women in your life more consistently, higher quality women, those mother quality women for the long term, and you're just sick and tired of this opportunity slipping away from you, click the link in the bio to see if you qualify for a consultation with one of us or a member of our team. So on this call, we're going to uncover the critical mistakes you're making. We're going to clarify what your dream dating life actually looks like. And we're going to craft a custom strategy so that you can finally live it without using sort of like phony, outdated, and cringy pickup gimmicks. And also without sacrificing your career and without reducing your income. Our methods are for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs, right? So we've specifically designed our dating systems to get you a return on time investment, to get you to improve your communication in such a way that it's going to increase your income, not take away from your career. So not only will this improve your dating life, it's going to improve your professional communication skills, directly increasing your income as a result. So these calendar spots are limited and they go really fast. So click the link below to apply now.
Yeah, and look, over the past few years, we've had over 500 plus success stories. Like, you can check, go on our website, higherselfcircle.com, and then check the reviews. Like, literally check the reviews. Check all the testimonials of business owners, high-level professionals, real estate agents, salespeople, Ivy League students. Like, so many guys I've worked with over the years that have completely transformed their dating lives. Literally, I've had guys, virgins, going from a virgin to fucking 2-3 girls a week in literally less than 12 weeks. From a virgin to 2-3 girls a week in less than 12 weeks. I've had guys, go from obviously 0 dates to same thing, 1 to 3 dates a week. I've had guys getting married. Last year, I had 2 of my clients getting married last year. One guy, Gurvinder, from New Zealand, Gurvinder, and the other guy, Ranjith, from, I know their names are a bit weird. Both are Indians, it's funny. But like, both got married. And one is Ranjith from Canada. Literally, he lives in Canada, like you, Chris. And another one is from New Zealand. They got married last year. But I had plenty of guys, getting engaged, finding their dream girlfriend. Like, literally today, a guy, Giovanni, he sent me a picture. I'll send it to you, Chris. He sent me a picture of him and his girlfriend. And he told me, thanks, Limo. Right now, we've been dating, etc. And it's been going good. Thanks for everything. And I'll send you that. Chris.
We could put it on the screen.
We can put it on the screen, bro. He sent me that today. Literally today, he sent me that. So guys are changing their lives every day with these systems. And every day you don't have access to these systems, or every day you don't apply these systems in some way in your life, you're kind of missing out. And every day you live is a day closer to your death. Each day you live on this earth is getting you closer to the ultimate final line, which is death. Life by definition begets death. If you're alive, you will die, and it's very unlikely that you're going to be the first world's immortal. So you gotta be very aware of your death in this world. And look, money is not gonna come with you on your at your funeral. It's not gonna come with you on in your coffin. Money comes and goes, man. But those skills, those memories, those moments, the things you build, the relationships you build, this is what remains. On your deathbed, on your deathbed, okay, is $1 million gonna make like a crazy difference compared to all the memories, all the good experiences you've had with other humans, with socially, etc. Like, it's not the money. On your deathbed, you're not gonna think about necessarily all the money. You're gonna think about the experience, the quality of life you've had. So if you're constantly just working and your quality of life kind of sucks, socially especially, then you're just missing out on all that other side of your life. It's not all about the money. The money, fuck the money. The money comes and goes, man. And anyways, the money is going to be a byproduct of who you fucking are. So if you are that person and you're social and you have those skills, money is going to be a byproduct of that. You're not going to have any problem making money anyway. So yeah, there's only, you will never take these skills, you'll never take the money with you, but you will always have those skills with you in your mind. Anywhere you go, anywhere you travel, they will be with you. Now, every time we travel, myself and Chris, like every time we travel, we have crazy results. We pull girls, we date the best women, we go to the best places, and we have amazing experiences everywhere we go because we have those skills with us, and nobody can take them from us. You know, the banks can take our money, the government can take our assets, our real estate, whatever. But those skills and the person we've built internally is never going to go away. And even if I lose everything tomorrow, even if I go back to zero tomorrow, I know I have the skills and I have the discipline and I have the character to make it back 10 times again, 100 times again, whatever, because I've built this skill and this perseverance, that discipline, and I just followed through, you know, and I did what other guys weren't willing to do, you know, and so that's what it is.
So once again, links in the description. Click below and apply now to see if you qualify for a call with Limo, myself, or a member of our team.